Hi, boys and girls. We are back on online teaching lesson 6. OK，各位同学，我们又回到网上教学的第6堂课。今天我们要看的呢，依然是在 rules of debits and credit，但是不过我们的部分呢是在 trial balance。Okay, so the next topic that we are going to look at is actually trial balance. Okay, let's recap back what we have learned in the previous 2 lessons. OK， 我们再重复一遍我们之前所上的东西。我们上的东西呢，其实就是在一个accounts 的 usual balance 里面的一个资料啦。So, okay, let's recap back what we have learned in the usual balance of accounts. Okay. For all the asset, it should be reflected on the debit side because the usual balance of the account is on the debit side. Okay, whereas for liability, the usual balance is on the credit side. Okay, expenses is on the debit side, income is on the credit side. Sales return, or rather known as return inwards, it's on the debit side, and purchases return is on the credit side. These are the usual balance of the account. And for drawings, it should be on the debit side because the debit means plus, the credit means minus. Okay, for capital 呢，它的这个 usual balance 呢，其实是在 credit side，所以它的意思呢，左边是减，右边是增加的意思。Okay, and for account receivable 因为它其实本身就是一个 current asset， 所以你把它记成是 asset， 它的 usual balance 是在 debit 的OK， 然后最后一个 current liability， 这个 accounts payable 它是 current liability， so 它是一个 liability， 它是一个负债，所以呢，它的 usual balance 是在右边，就是在 credit， 因为它是减加的一个 concept。Okay, so these are the things that we learned in the previous chapter. Okay, when we were doing the rules of debits and credits. Okay, today we are going to move on to trial balance. But before we move on to trial balance, you have to understand the concept of closing the account at the accounting period, the end of the accounting period. It can be month end, it can be year end. Okay, so when you do the closing, you transfer the figure from the ledger and put it into the trial balance. 所以今天我们要看的是一部分是关系到这个 ledger 关账的部分，就是在结账的时候呢，我们要怎样把这个账转去 trial balance. Okay, example, what you see now is actually the closing of the purchases account at the month end. Okay, this is an example for 1 month account for the purchases. Okay, 你眼前所看到的呢，其实就是一个 purchases account. Okay, 我们在1号的时候呢，我们有 cash purchases 500块，然后同时呢，我们也有用支票呢去买我们的货，所以花了1000块。然后月尾的时候呢，我们也有赊账跟人家买东西，跟 supplier 买东西，买了3000块。So when you do the closing, you should use balance CD to do the closing. On the right hand side, you put 4005, the total of the 1 month purchases, and also you have to write balance CD. OK, balance CD 这是关账的部分，然后呢要带下去2月1号 you have to bring down to the next month and you write balance BD. So this is how you get 4005 and that 4005 will be reflected in trial balance on the debit side. 所以当我们超过去这个 trial balance 的时候呢，其实你一定要把它放在 debit那一栏，因为转账的时候呢，它的这个 usual balance 呢就应该是在 debit 的。Okay, next one. So remember, the debit 4005 should be reflected on the debit sides of the trial balance. Okay, and another example for the sales account. OK， 如果是 sales 的话，其实也是同样的 concept。我们进账了一整个月，我们有花了这样多 我们有卖到这样多，有200，有400，有3000，也有现款的，也有赊账的。OK， 当我们结账的时候 ，when we do the closing at the month end, okay, we do it on the debit side. That is the closing part, and we bring down to February 1st, 3006 to the right hand side to the credit side. So later on, when you copy into the trial balance, you have to look at the balance BD based on the credit side. OK， 因为它的 usual balance 呢，其实就是在 credit column。OK， so remember the credit side of the sales will be on the credit side of the trial balance. Okay, another example is on the expense account electricity. 另外一个我们看的是费用。OK， 我们花了120块在还我们的电费，然后同时呢，我们也有补交24块 cash 来去还这个电费。所以在结账的时候 ，when we do the closing it should be 144, and we write balance CD, and then bring down to next month as 1st of February, and then balance BD. So later on, we look at this debit side when we put under the trial balance. Okay, we're not going to look at the balance CD. We are not based on the credit side, but rather on the debit side. Okay, so remember, balance BD to be reflected on the debit side of the trial balance. Okay, the last one is on the asset account. When you do a closing on the asset account, it's the same concept. Okay, so you have 500 on the debit side. We have bought something, maybe a sofa, maybe a computer table, and we also have bought something on credit terms. 我们也有赊账的跟 Tran Furniture Sdn Bhd 买了一批的家私，所以呢，我们结账的时候应该是1500块。So when we do the closing, the total should be 1005, balance CD on the credit side and balance BD on the debit side. Okay, so this 1005 should be reflected on the debit side of the trial balance. Okay, so when you copy into the trial balance, this is how you do it. When you transfer to trial balance, okay, you write down the name of the sole trader, and then with the title trial balance as at a date lah. It can be a month, it can be the year-end closing. Okay, so the first item that we had just now is the purchases, so you put it under the debit column, so 我们就把它抄进去 debit， 因为呢，刚才我们做到的 balance BD， 其实我们关账的时候，我们带下去下一个月的第一天的时候呢，其实是在 debit， 所以呢，你就跟着来抄进去 debit column. Okay, where else for sales, it's on the credit side, so when you copy to the trial balance, you should put under the credit column. Okay, same thing to electricity is an expense account, so it's a debit balance. And also for the asset account, it's 1005 on the debit side. Okay, so you just list down one by one and the rest as well until you get the last one. Okay, at the end, right, the total, when you get the total, they must be tally with each other side. OK， 到最后呢，你的总数呢应该是相等的 ，debit 跟 credit 应该是相等的，这个就是 trial balance。OK， 我们再看一下 format 应该是怎样的。OK， so again the format is like this. Okay, with the name of the sole trader and the title trial balance as at a date. Okay, and you have the debit column, you have the credit column 啦。All assets should be reflected on the debit side. Okay, 所有的 asset 应该是在 debit 的。Okay, example of asset you should know by now: motor vehicles, office furniture, inventory, cash in hand, cash at bank, accounts receivable, and many more. Okay. Okay, liabilities, all types of liability, it should be reflected on the credit sides of the trial balance. Examples of liability, you have bank loan, you have bank overdraft, you have accounts payable. Okay, so as long as it is liability, regardless whether non-current liability or current liability. Okay, as long as liability, they all should under the credit column. Okay, and then we have expenses 费用的话，你应该要放在 debit column，因为它的 usual balance 是在 debit。Example wages 啦 ，okay, you have stationery, telephone, utilities, advertising, and so on. Okay, and income we have rental income, commission income. Okay, so these are the things that should be reflected under the credit column. Okay, and then the rest like purchases you can just treat it like expense account, and sales you can treat it as income, it's on the credit side. 然后呢我们还有 sales return 其实呢跟 sales 呢你这样子记就好了，它是相反方向的，所以如果 sales 是在 credit column， 那么 sales return 应该是在 debit column 的。 OK， 然后 purchases return 在 credit column。 OK， so you input all the items in the trial balance. We have drawings also one of the things that normally you will find it in the questions. Okay, drawings is usual balance is debit because the concept is plus minus, and for capital it's minus plus, so it should be reflected on the credit column. OK， 然后呢就所有的debit 全部加起来 just for example you should be getting 53,000 example, and your right hand side you must be getting 53,000 as well 啦，所以意思说我们的 debit column 跟 credit column 的总数呢一定要相等啦。Okay, so this is the format of the trial balance. Okay, let's do one questions as a classwork together. Okay, this is the question that I send you. And let's see question number 10. You are given cash in hand. Cash in hand is actually your asset. Okay, sales, okay, sales, it should be on the credit. Purchases, it should be on the debit. Motor vehicles is asset, so debit. Okay, rent and rates, expenses, expense account. Electricity also expense account. Return inward, it should be on the debit side. Return outward, credit side. And trade receivable, asset. Accounts payable, liability. 你就一个一个看啊，你就把它分类出来，然后呢把它抄进去一个 trial balance， 一个正统的 format。 Okay, furniture 是我们的资产，Capital 是我们的资本 ，OK， 然后 drawing 是 debit 的 ，Office salary 是 expense account， 所以是费用是我们的 debit column， 然后 land and building 是我们的资产，是我们的 asset， 然后呢应该是在 debit，OK， 然后你就把它排好它啦，你就排在这个 trial balance，OK， 你的答案应该是这样子的东西啦。So this is how you do. You arrange it according to debit or credit. Okay, you do it like this. You list out one by one. If it belongs to the debit column, then you put under the debit. If it belongs to the credit, then you put under the credit column. So arrange it one by one. Okay, don't bother about the sequence. Just do it one by one. Enter one by one like that. Okay, so at the end, 最后呢你应该要找到的总数呢左边跟右边呢应该是相等的啦。所以假设讲你这一题的答案是17460块，你的左边的 column 跟右边的 column debit 跟 credit 其实应该要找到17460。Okay, so at the end, right, the total column and the credit column, the total, they must be tally. Okay, they must be tally. So this is the answers for question number 10, 17,460. So 这个是做给你看的，就是一个 classwork 这样子啦。Okay, and you got to go back and try, not to say go back, you're already at home. Okay, so assignment 6, it's on question 11. I have sent you the questions already. So this is the question that you should try out on your own. Okay, so how you do it? Just follow my instruction just now, how I show you, and give it a try, and I believe you're able to do it. Okay, so 今天的课程呢，我们的这个网上教学呢，就是到这边。Thank you.